with the Ragnarok, this might be the answer of NXT.
That is true. I mean, you do have the Ragnarok, just as you mentioned. Just press the R button, or press the last skill button, your ult button, and then just storm ahead. You do have the Oriana as well for that extra movement speed to propel you.
Just go ham, go all in against Nexplay Esports.
Yeah, I think so too, because of how strong their potential level 5 game is with the Nexplay, be able to make their composition work as well. We're at game number 1 now between Team Secret and Nexplay Esports.
Now I like the hover here from Nexplay Esports. They went into a 3-man roam into the mid lane before the 30-second marks. They were, I think, thinking maybe Team Secret is looking for the early engage. Considering you have Chewy with that Corki, they need the items up and running very early into the matchup, and Trinity Force is not that cheap. So maybe they really want to punish Chewy in that matchup, but considering no engages will be done, Nexplay Esports is now hovering from the Kai'Sa and that Janna back into the Dragon lane.
Yeah, that's true. It is still Team Secret deciding to retain the lanes, as considering that, Helmet still wanted to assist Trevor here in the jungle a little bit more. The biggest question is whether or not this laning arrangement will retain, as a lot of vision being dropped down in the jungle of NXP, so that information will definitely help Team Secret.
Yeah, and I like how he stated how Hamiz went into the jungle, leashed up Trevor so that he can get the red buff early on. He could go and translate that to a fast clear into the bottom side jungle to then go for the blue buff and then go for the Rift Cutter, which is actually quite important. And Hamiz went into the mid lane, supported Corki, went in for the wave clear. So an absolute mindset of Hamiz to go for the response for his teammates, to go hard support for his team, which is actually very smart. But NXP now going for an old mid. They showed up. So I think this gives information on Team Secret on what could happen next.
Yeah, we'll have to see, as that's going to be a 2v2 as the Rift Scuttler is secured by Just G. Now, Trevor decides to just back away, as, again, mid lane did not have priority at the time, which is Chule had the advantage of joining Just G first.
So having the Rift Cutter in favor of an Nexplay Esports, they have a lot of lead in terms of information, right? They have 2 ward placements into the mid side. They have the Rift Cutter. So Akali would know if there is someone trying to kill him. If there is some roam, the jungler to be more specific, Trevor, if he is looking to kill Horizon. So that is actually an advantage for NXP right now into the early matchup. Early rotations are now hindered by NXP against PM.
That is the reason why we have, just as you mentioned, the normal 1-1-2 for the bottom duo lane already. It seems that both Rift Scuttlers, just as you mentioned, have been secured by Nexplay Esports. So off to a good start by NXP here. All lanes are in favor, or do have priority rather, in favor of Nexplay Esports. So they're, thinking in advance, already trying to set up for the first dragon of the game, which is usually where we see any sort of decisive outcome. But that is, we'll have to see, as I'm excited to see that first.
No Horizon though, versus Azar.
Just a little bit of poke here and there. It has been a very, I wouldn't say passive lane, but because of Azar's shield, a little bit difficult, I suppose, to trade here and there. But Horizon actually winning that poke game on the Akali.
The 3 minutes and 30 seconds are now up. So the Dragon is going to be the next contest for these two teams. The resets are now coming through for NXP. So if they go for the clash, this is going to be the advantage for their team, as there is still no resets for Team Secret.
Yeah, still no resets at this point. I suppose they're trying to make moves at the top side. Try to burn a flash. Try to burn some summoner spells away from Horizon. Here they go. A flash burned, and that is what they hope for. Right, just on time for the dragon as it spawns. But now, NXP already starting this dragon. They don't want the air drake. They're like, okay, we'll give away the air drake. We will see if we can prioritize this tower instead and push and dive and see if they can actually kill Horizon. But here comes Chewy. But at this point, look at the Hextech ultimatum. Very clean, very nice insect. And at this point, that is a very smooth move from Team Secret.
I think Nexplay Esports says, you know what, we have the information that Team Secret has a 3-man row into the Baron lane. So let's go for the Dragon. But they didn't expect that they have their ult up. So Team Secret just bursted down NXP and got the first blood.
I love the setup. I love the idea. You get that first blood, but looks like there's a revenge kill. Chule is able to eliminate Trevor, but Azar is here. There could be another kill. There's the sweep, there's the hit, and there's the exchange kill 1-for-1. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Disaster a little bit low, but mission accomplished for Team Secret. They are able to get first blood turret, rather.
And I like how we're seeing in terms of the statistics, right? In the top of the map, we're looking at the 20k for Team Secret and a 20.1k for NXP. They're dead even in terms of gold. No one is upping one another. But Trinity Force for Azar and Trinity Force for Corki is a good thing. They now have their power spikes.
Yeah, that's a really good spike. Just as you mentioned, they're ready to fight, they're ready to dive. Just as we've seen from earlier, we're looking at package timings later on, maybe when the Rift Herald arrives. And now Justy just trying to scare them away, scaring Chewy away out of the jungle. But now Nexplay Esports does have control at the moment. Hama is very, very low as good discipline though. No summoner spells used. You do need that for the next fight, but you're quite far away. Here comes the Rift Herald. Already started. All of NXP already here. Azar hovering over the pit, but they're so far away. There's the Mega Death Rocket. That's not Jinx. That's a ball. That's Ziggs. But unfortunately, no steal whatsoever will happen, and NXP will just retreat. Will Tatsuri let them though? That is the question. A lot of bouncing bombs happening. Lot to cancel! And actually finds Disaster. It is indeed a disaster. Unable to port back in time. And now Team Secret is able to cash in some consolation prize. They are sweeping towers here and there. They are unstoppable at the objective game.
It all started on the satchel charge, but we have another fight.
Another fight indeed. Team Secret non-stop. Nicely done. Tatsuri with a 1v1 situation with Chule. There's the barrier. A barrier for barrier. And the shield survives as Azar will wait for Uzi's golden to finish. But here comes Disaster respawning back from death. Uzi's pretty low. They're on the chase. They want the kill. And nicely done Moonsoon. But another dive happens as Justy will secure the kill on towards Hamas. And that will be a very prolonged exchange, but we'll see as it's a 3-for-2 exchange in favor of NXP.
I think Team Secret gained the advantage when it comes to the early type of matchup against Nexplay Esports. Right? They got the Mega Infernal Bomb up, so that plays Nexplay Esports at a very low HP. They followed through. They got killed. But I think they overstayed in that fight. So Nexplay Esports were able to counteract that one. Kaisa was just kiting against the enemy team, and we have Janna just goes for the flash, goes for the barrier, and just helped out his teammates, and therefore getting the kill in their favor once again. So at this point, it's still even in terms of gold for these two teams.
Exactly. It was such a prolonged fight that the people who were killed at the first few minutes of that engage happened to respawn and join the fight again for a second round. Now, next dragon has spawned. NXP again is in this pit, and it is getting obliterated quite quickly. No steal from the bouncing bombs from Tatsuri, and Just G doing a great job. But Azar uses the Hextech ultimatum on towards the Olaf. We'll have to see as the package is used. That's the second Valkyrie towards the front line. The rest of NXP want to back away, and that's what they're going to do. Unfortunately, nothing will be taken from Team Secret, or rather from Nexplay Esports, but they're able to back away. I guess the party's not over as Justy does have the rest, does have that movement speed from the Orianna. It looks like they decide to retreat instead.
I think Team Secret having the diver type of champions enables them to go very aggressive when it comes to their game. They went in for a lot of kills, they went in for a lot of objectives, and to follow on to that one, you also have Tatsuri with the Ziggs, and that enabled for them to get that tier 3 turrets just to wipe out against NXT. So right now, I think they prioritize getting those so that they can have the map control. Disable the potential for NXP to gain those farms in the lanes. And that is actually a requirement for NXP because they have the Akali, they have the Olaf, and they have Uzi with a Kaisa. So with that actually being taken down, I think it's actually quite hard for NXP right now to just scale out real hard against Team Secret. So it's still going to be even matched, but TS is just going in for a lot of pressure.
Absolutely agree with you there. They definitely have been using, Team Secret definitely have been using their composition to their strengths. We do have the Ziggs. Azar getting really, really close to Justy, but there's 3-4 more members there as Azar is incredibly low, but he's trapped near 3 members and he will fall. Trevor will decide to back away instead, but NXP, do they want more? It looks like no. That is their Baron laner gone. So Nexplay, Esports, what can they do in the time being?
What they can do is to go for pressures. They have the advantage. It's a 5v4 in favor of Nexplay Esports. So they can either go for a split push, bait out Team Secret to separate against each other. So that was basically putting them in a 4v3 type situation. So I think that's going to be very smart. Considering they have the lack in terms of advantage in turrets, they're going to prioritize in getting this to even out a level playing field in terms of map control.
Package is online. Just as you mentioned, NXP just wants to even out the map control by taking out this first tier tower. And that means more space for them to move around in the Baron pit later on. And more pressure if the waves are going to be building towards that side if they do want to secure that dragon. Now, just as you mentioned, a lot of these champions, a lot of these players are already online, moving towards their second item completion already. Heading towards that, which is going to be incredibly scary. We've yet to see the 5v5s we've been looking for, considering the fact that NXP just wants to get the objectives and get out of there.
Absolutely, but with Lee Sin having no GA yet and prioritizing the U moves, he is deadly. He is an assassin, and this might be it.
This might be it indeed. Look at that. Just G just hammering down the rest of the members from Team Secret. Now, we can see Trevor going golden, axe being thrown, but here comes a Rising Spell joining the fight. Azar is getting focused on. There's the dive, there's a Rising, there's the shurikens just non-stop, and he's trapped in the backline here, but it is enough for Team Secret to back away and respect the power that NXT has.
And Team Secret has to pay the price. Trevor having to prioritize that Yumu's blade disables the potential for them to go very aggressive. On top of all that, he was just into the sidelines waiting for the right opportunity, but it was a mistake because he had Disaster to go for the defensive capabilities onto Uzi. So I think that was a perfect play from Nexplay Esports in the perfect moment.
That's true. I mean, you would think we'd be a little bit worried because Team Secret was trying to set up a death brush because they weren't aware that Trevor was on that river brush. But in the end, at the end of the day, NXT was able to jump first, and then Just G just dived in with a lot of burst with Horizon as well on the Akali. I mean, Horizon wasn't even there in the first few seconds of that fight, but it was impactful when he arrived. Now, third dragon of the game for NXT. They are taking everything. They got the Baron, they got 3 Drakes on their side, and they are in a very comfortable lead at the moment, but can't count Team Secret out yet because the gold lead is still quite not too distant, I would say.
And talking about gold, let's go back to items. If you're looking at items right now, Nexplay Esports actually built some Grievous Wounds items. They have Kaisa with the Executioner's Calling, while on Team Secret, they have no Grievous Wounds item. And having that Harmonic Echo and Ardent already present for Disaster, that's a lot of HP heals for NXP. So this is going to be a very interesting fight. On top of all that, he also has a Redemption.
Heals for days for NXP here, just as you mentioned, but there's a clash, there's a tower dive, Horizon, Golden, doesn't matter though as they have eliminated Tatsuri. Now Trevor, the next one in Zhonya's, but he is surrounded by the rest of Nexplay. This is a 4v4 situation, and Nexplay Esports comes up on top. They are now barring down the Nexus towers, and let's see what they do next, but they're pretty satisfied with that so far. It's a 1v1 at the top side of the map. Nicely done. The flash will not help, but Just G wins the 1v1 duel.
And top of all that, he secured the tier 2 turret into the Baron lane. So it was not just a kill onto Azar, it was more gold for the side of NXP. And now, they're sitting at an 11k gold lead. They're probably sitting at a 3 to 5 core items built in favor of them against Team Secret.
Huge lead, just as you mentioned, and a huge amount of map control as well. They are most likely waiting for the next Baron to spawn for them to try and end the game for themselves. Now, what can Team Secret do right now? All they can do at the moment is to try and play defense and see if they can make a Baron play. Catch Nexplay Esports busy taking the Baron. I think that is the only opportunity at the moment, especially even the Elemental Drake is spawning soon.
And at this point in time, with less of an item for Team Secret, they need to come back to it. Because Nexplay Esports is sitting at a very good position. They have the whole map control. They got 2 inhibitor turrets, so wave control is in favor.
Hold that thought, Righteous will already pop. There's Justy in the middle of everything. That's a 1v5 situation, but the rest of the squad from Nexplay is already here. Justy focusing his efforts onto Hamed, but never mind. Azar is in the Hextech ultimatum as Horizon escapes, but the rest of the squad from Team Secret is already on the base, but NXP knock it on the Nexus door, and they win game number 1 just like that against Team Secret.